Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mexi here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario Party Jamboree, for not only for the Nintendo Switch 1, but in addition to Nintendo Switch 2 version with some new content, which then again, that'll be a topic for a later time. So, yesterday, we did somehow manage able to wrap things up everything in terms of the forms of Bowser Kaboom Squad by going into the third and the final stage, which does manage to take place in Typhoons, and so much to the point, after all, we did somehow manage able to experience every single minigames in terms of Kaboom Squad selections of minigames, so yeah, everything else checks out there basically. So today for this video is that we are about to be checking out the next mode in Super Mario Party Jamboree, and that's going to be located in the Motion Control Island. Such as, for instance though, I believe for the sake of the forms of the title for this video, is that we are about to be checking out Rhythm Kitchen first out of these three Motion Control Island modes. So because of this though, so as you can see on screen, I have decided able to select Yoshi for this particular video, especially noticeable considering about the fact that I get the strong feeling that we are basically almost done in terms of selecting everyone, while I will still try my best able to actually play as every single characters in this game, including the Switch 2 version as well. So yeah, apart from those aside things though, we shall wait and see what happens. So anyway, so as you can see, we're now going to be going into the Motion Control Island, as you can definitely tell. And because of that though, is that the controller method for three of these modes in particular does require Joy-Con controllers, because yes, I'm going back on using my singular Joy-Con for the sake of the forms of this particular mode right here, Rhythm Kitchen, and so much to the point. Now, if you remember back in Super Mario Party, there was actually a mode called Sound Stage, where basically though, it's all about the rhythm timing thing, and so much to the point, you have to use the singular Joy-Con in order to be able to participate in the forms of not only in every mode in Super Mario Party, but in addition to Sound Stage. So much to the point, we have to go for a serious amount of mini games, and it's up to you to be able to do a bit of a perfect rhythm going. So I think of like Rhythm Paradise for instance, except the fact that it's all likely going to be a lot shorter. Because of that though, it's going to be on minigame format. So because of that though, and the character choice I'm actually going to be using this time when it comes to computer players is that I'm also going to be inviting not only Bodo, but in addition to Toad and Toadette as well, making like a 50-50 when it comes to male and female characters. So yeah, I guess that makes it pretty obvious for the sake of time. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop on to Rhythm Kitchen. So as a result, I think this time around though is about the fact that rather than just trying to able to go for a competitive side of things though, so instead we have to cooperate. So as a result, similar to the forms of how it does it on one of those modes that we've already checked out earlier, that's what appears to be Bowser Kaboom Squad. And speaking of which though, similar to the forms of how it does it on Super Mario Party, obviously though we have to make sure for the fact that we need to be able to stand up for this particular mode, and also we need to make ourselves enough space, so just in case we don't hit ourselves when it comes to Joy-Con controllers, similar to the forms of how it does on Super Mario Party Soundstage. So, but only now this time is that Kamek is now the host of this particular mode right there, which, kind of think about it though, he was also the host in Koopa Athlon, so because of that though, yeah, you can get the idea of how there's going to be some large similarities when it comes to Soundstage and compared to the forms of Rhythm Kitchen. So, but anyway, there are some other things I would like to point out, is about the fact that, well, if for those of you probably wondering, yes, today's date of course here is the 29th of August today, in some cases in 2025 today, although I was originally trying to able to mention about the forms of the actual review scores actually turns out, for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, plus Star-Crossed World, but I think it's probably best if we let Silver the Hedgehog, who will mention more about that particular topic, once he decides to able to go back on playing through Sonic and the Black Knight until tomorrow. So because of that though, and speaking of which though, is about the fact that we've only just got about 3 more days to go until we're approaching on to September. So because of that though, And still, I'm incredibly excited about the forms of September coming up, so from now on though, let's bump our fists to the beat, just like the forms of how it does in the Super Mario Party soundstage mode, only now, for the fact that instead of trying to able to go through some mini-games with the forms of different objectives, so I get the feeling we're about to be trying to cook something, so because of that though, because I can totally see why this mode is actually called Rhythm Kitchen. So, on the beat is the first rhythm minigame we can go into, and like I said before, there aren't any competitive side of things this time, so instead we have to cooperate together, and so much to the point, just like in Super Mario Party Soundstage minigames itself, the rhythm is key here, because when it says nice, this means you get best results, but if you get it like early or late, then obviously that was about the fact that if you couldn't tell, that the gauge itself is actually starts to fill up. So because of that though, yeah, there's going to be a lot of motion control timing skills that's required if you really want to go for best results. Now I believe the best results you can able to get up to, depending on what session you're in, likely for instance though, I think there's a maximum of 5-star rankings, so as a result though, yeah, I will try my best able to actually go for a perfect run, but if not though, depending on my timing skills, so anyway, Perfect the Course is the next rhythm minigame. So of course, just like in any other rhythm minigames from Super Mario Party, before you start the minigame, the actual arrow thing decides to tell you the actual specific timing you have to put up with. So because of that, yeah, and seriously, while looking at the forms of any other food menus, it just makes me go extremely hungry at this rate, because I know for a fact that, because generally speaking I was about the fact that there was actually a code name for this particular game as far as I'm aware, which appears to be like, I don't know, buffet or something like that. I mean, chances are though, it has been about a year ago since I actually have managed to know about the forms of some code names for specific games like, you know, Super Mario Party, Mario Party Superstars, and of course Super Mario Party Jamboree. But either way though, so far so good in terms of the forms of our rhythm timing as far as I'm aware. Not the perfect run, but regardless of such though, I honestly did my best. So, alright, Whisk Cream. So, yeah, basically that was about the fact that, like I said earlier, that Joy-Cons is required, because if you try to play this mode with, well, you can't really play this mode in Switch Pro Controller, because let's face it though, it's about the fact that there's only like a couple of modes you can able to actually play through with your Switch Pro Controller within, you know, Mario Party mode, and in addition to Koopa Avalon, Bowser Boom Squad, and in addition to Minigame Bay. So, yeah, that's something I suppose. So, and I think, suffice to say though, is about the fact that similar to the forms of how it does it on Soundstage from the original Super Mario Party, that I'm pretty sure we have to go through a multitude of difficulties. So, I'm pretty sure from the start either way, that we're about to be going into specifically normal course as far as I'm aware, but then as soon as we're able to actually completely done with the first difficulty level, then we might able to actually come across into the next difficulty level. So, and yeah, once all 3 of these mini-games has been finished in one session, the 3 Yoshi judges, specifically red, blue, and yellow Yoshis, were able to actually tell us the final results, and so far we've almost got a perfect rating within 5 stars out of 5, but ultimately though we somehow got the 4.9 stars, meaning it actually tells us executive sheriffs. So because of that, not too shabby for the most part. So because of that, yeah, and as far as I'm aware though, unlike in Super Mario Party in Soundstage, obviously though there's only like 3 difficulty settings, likely also for the fact that there was the normal, remixed, and hard mode, I think is what it says. Well, despite the fact it's been 6 years ago since I actually have last played Super Mario Party in terms of Let's Play content, and yeah, you get the idea for this point. So, anyway, so that's the first level done, and of course we can able to get ourselves some even more achievements by, you know what I'm saying, just trying to experience the mode for the first time, and in addition to completing one of the stages or one of the courses with this specific star rating. So anyway, so that's it for normal mode right there, and now let's go ahead and move on to the next level right there, which, suffice to say though, is about the fact that we're now going into long mode. So meaning about the fact that we have to go for about 6 phases basically. So this means about the fact that we can able to expect to come across into even more mini games like Copycat Curry. So And gee, I wonder who's going to be the judge of that. Oh, would you look at that? Waluigi's once again the host of that particular, well, you know, the spotlight kind of syndrome. Because we already know for a fact that in one of those mini games in Super Mario Party, which appears to be, well, I can't really remember what that minigame is called, by the way, because, relatively speaking, I haven't really touched upon that much of Soundstage as much compared to the regular Mario Party mode, but that's besides the point. So, but I digress. So, and I'm pretty sure, depending on what characters you somehow gonna be playing as, likely also for yourself or computer players, as far as I'm aware, I believe the actual judging thing on the center of the actual thing will be replaced, just like the forms of how it does in one of those mini games in Super Mario Party, but only this time we're now going to be cooking instead of competing for points. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that solution as far as I'm aware. So, but anyway, and it's also reassuring about this too, is about the fact that recently today, that PAX West 2025 has officially begun. So because of that though, to see some more gameplay footage of some upcoming games here and there, for the majority of 2025, all the way up to possibly 2026. And it's also reassuring about this too, there's even more events coming up soon for the likes of Tokyo Game Show that's supposed to be happening in September, and I'm happy to report for the fact that Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment will be playable in Tokyo Game Show in this year in particular for 2025. So because of that, meaning about the fact that we can now able to actually definitely hear more about the game, but we still haven't got a clue when does the release date is going to happen for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So because of that, yeah, I'm a little bit optimistic about that. And meanwhile, same applies with the forms of how the fact that Bandai Namco is also going to be involved with the Tokyo Game Show. So because of that, there's a lot going on around here. So, and yeah, that minigame right there looks remarkably similar to one of those minigames in Super Mario Party, but only now for the fact that we have to sort out the barbecue thing. And now we're going to be going on to the next minigame, which is Burger Builders. So basically though, we have to simply try to toss the burger onto the bun, and that's all you have to do. And all the while, the other teammates of ours has to toss not only the slice of cheese, but in addition to the chopped up lettuce and tomato especially, to create this delicious hamburger, or beef burger to be more specifically, because I already know for a fact that, well, again, while looking at the forms of the actual food in-game, my goodness, it's so darn delicious. Especially considering about the fact that, well, generally speaking, I was about the fact that it's hard for me to explain personally, because I've almost got distracted by the forms that how detailed the food visuals in this game can be, especially considering about the fact that for the majority of the forms of, well, again, it's pretty tricky to explain, but anyway. And also, if I found out something that's very, amusing about the forms of one of those games coming up, which appears to be Lego Party, well, kind of think about it though, not only do we get ourselves some more gameplay footage, but it also able to allows us to access to a playable demo in Gamescom 2025. Oh jeez, it looks like the thing is about to speeding up right now. So as a result though, yes, just like in Super Mario Party in one of those difficulties, basically though, once we get to the halfway point in one of the levels, basically though, the thing itself is about to speed up a little bit, making things a little bit tricky to time it. So but anyway, as I was saying about the forms of the Lego Party game for multitude of platforms basically, it may look like, for the fact that it's going to be a combination of both, let's just say Wii Party, as well as Mario Party, classic Mario Party gameplay style, which I know for a fact that, well, usually when it comes to Wii Party though, when it comes to that particular comparison, for I've seen the gameplay footage on Gamescom 2025, I might get the feeling you start things off with the actual minigame to start things off, before the actual board gameplay, similar to Wii Party, and say applies with Pac-Man FIFA, for both the GameCube and PlayStation 2. So much to the point for the fact that, and also I did somehow realize that similar to the forms of how it does it on both, not only Super Mario Party, but in addition to Mario Party Superstars, and finally, Super Mario Party Jamboree, yes, you can able to actually practice the minigame at any time, without needing to able to press a individual button when it comes to practicing it with the well, with a single, transmission or something like that. So, logically so is about the fact that when you get to the minigame tutorial screen, then you can able to practice the minigame at any time, and if you're ready for it, then you're about to be jumped right in, similar to the previous 3 Mario Party games I was on about earlier. So, yeah, kind of interesting, especially considering I could have imagined about the fact that if Sonic Shuffle sequel will be announced, then that way it could able to actually bring up practice the minigame at any time in the actual instruction screen. I mean, I highly doubt it though, just because we haven't got a Sonic Party game since, let's just say, both Sonic Shuffle for the Sega Dreamcast as well as the Party mode in Sonic and the Secret Rings. So because of that though, we haven't heard about anything in terms of the board gameplay Sonic games since, you know, in the 2000s. Like, I can't even believe it's been like, you know, 25 years ago since when Sonic Shuffle did somehow first came out on the Sega Dreamcast, despite it does contain some very mixed reception. And also, as far as I'm aware, Flive can tell that since it was still locked on the forms of the Sega Dreamcast, or should I say, still stuck onto the Sega Dreamcast, and it hasn't been re-released since on that original system. So as a result, though, it's about the fact that I'm pretty sure the sales numbers wasn't nearly as high compared to the forms of how it does it for both Mario Party 1 as well as Mario Party 2, both of which on the Nintendo 64. So, but anyway, so once again, we've almost got perfect. Like, as a result, we still got executive sheriffs, so meaning we somehow got 4.9 stars. So I think that's what the results is actually telling us something. So, and in fact, for the most part, I'm pretty sure we've almost played every single rhythm minigames, basically. So I'm pretty sure we've only got 4 of those minigames left. So no matter what, though, my expectations for this mode is actually pretty cool, which, again, it's hard for me to explain. So, anyway, so now we're done with the long mode. Now let's move on to challenging mode. So, meaning about the fact it's going to be hard mode, basically. So, but if we do end up missing one of those mini-games, then I'm sure enough that we'll try to save it up for the extra videos. So, anyways, foot long frenzy. So this means we have to make a glorious, delicious baguette, which does contain not only tomatoes, for I've noticed, but in addition to that, some avocado slices, and on top of that, cheese slices as well. So, and even prawns, for I've noticed as well. So, yeah, it's all about rhythm, you know. So, in fact, it's actually really easy to do. Compared to the forms of how it does it on Rhythm Paradise, in my opinion. Because I do honestly still remember experiencing Rhythm Paradise back in long time ago for the DS. And I just couldn't get around to it, mainly because my timing was very poor in terms of the forms of Rhythm Paradise as far as the game series as far as I'm concerned. Which at that point back then, I didn't follow the series since on the DS, just because I'm usually pretty terrible at rhythm games up until, well, I've now into rhythm games since, thanks to the forms of not only Super Mario Party, but in addition to recently with Super Mario Party Jamboree within both separate modes. So, anyways, let's move on to the next minigame, which is Soup Turp, which obviously requires us able to chop not only tomatoes, but in addition to mushrooms and also potatoes, and also, I don't really remember what this food is called exactly, because it has been quite a while for me to able to actually just to memorize what that food's name was. Oh, and also you can able to chop up the carrots as well, so, yeah, still looks very delicious to see, especially considering about the fact that, well, usually when it comes to the majority of the minigames, well, some minigames in particular, for Super Mario Party Jamboree, that it almost makes me feel like I was about to be hungry with all these food worth noting for, like, you know, with all that particular, you know, barbecue things, and burgers, and especially noticeable for steak in, prime cut. I mean, seriously, I'm almost gonna get distracted by that. But anyway, now let's move on to pursuing the last phase of this difficulty, which means about the fact that timing needs to be absolute. Although I will say that this minigame right there is actually very tricky to time itself, because I'm pretty sure in order to be able to time it well enough is that you need to let that little inner circle thing decides to go almost disappeared until you're able to actually get the timing right. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what this is supposed to be exactly, but I'm guessing we are trying to be making something like, I don't know, like a thicker, like, pancakes or something. But I can't really judge of what the actual thing itself is called, by the way. But anyway. Yeah, I gotta say, this one right there is actually a little bit tricky for me, but that's just because of the timing aspect needs to be absolute with all that flipping, and on top of that, just trying to able to actually deliver it right onto the trolley, right where, you know, Green Shy Guy was. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like pancakes, basically. So yeah, they're a little bit more, slightly thicker, which, yeah, oh man. So, anyway, so that pretty much does it for challenge mode, as far as I'm aware, or challenging difficulty. So, let's see what the results are in. In fact, the majority of the achievements, as far as I'm aware, you need to always have to make sure you need to reach for about 4 stars and above in order to able to actually get one of those achievements. So, yeah, that's as far as I was expecting. So, and also, similar to the forms of how it does it for both Super Mario Party and Mario Party Superstars, I love the fact that they somehow managed to bring some more dancing animations for some playable characters, but only this time, not only does Pauline decide to join in the fray, but in addition to Ninja, Toad, and Toadette for the first time, they can now dance. So, that's actually pretty fantastic in my book. So, anyway, so that pretty much does it for that. And let's check on the menu selection, and, oh. Okay, quick error right there, sorry about that folks, because it turns out, in order to able to actually unlock the 4th and the final difficulty right there, which appears to be remakes, I think something tells me I have to play through every single mini-games in Rhythm Kitchen, meaning we are technically off by 1 mini-game, despite, unfortunately though, I've lost my footage of it. So because of that though, unfortunately though, we are missing 1 minigame left. So as a result though, yeah, that can wait for a later time. Which means, yes, I did manage to able to experience going back into normal mode off screen, by the way. And actually, as it turns out, is about the fact that, well, the rumors are true, but the fact that in order to able to get, you know, get to access to Remix mode, I have to experience every single minigames in this particular mode, within the Rhythm minigames in general. So, anyways, let's get into Remix mode, which I'm pretty sure it plays out pretty similar to, long difficulty, except, well, these segments are a lot quicker, and on top of that, the background music you're going to be hearing sounds a bit familiar to you, doesn't it? Well, convenient enough though, is actually World 1-1 from Super Mario Bros. So, considering about the fact that after all, September is just around the corner, so we can pretty much expect able to try to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise after all, so, that'll be a good coincidence to try to able to actually compromise that such. So, but, yeah, I do apologize about the fact I've lost the actual footage of the forms of trying to experience the final Rhythm minigame, but then again, though, it's just about the fact I wasn't thinking straight. So because of that, though, yeah, I guess that's as far as I can talk about in terms of the forms of Rhythm Kitchen, basically. So as a result, though, it was just there in case if you want to, you know, enjoy certain entertainment values to it. But of course, just like in Super Mario Party, when it comes to Rhythm minigames, the only way you can able to experience the Rhythm minigames is both not only the Rhythm Kitchen mode itself, but in addition to the free play mode, because that way, and it's also reassuring that, again, no Pro Controller is required, so only the Joy-Cons are only required to able to actually access those mini games and the entire mode within Rhythm Kitchen. So, yeah, I guess that's all I can really say about this, and I still love the fact that they, you know, bring in the forms of that familiar tune from that overworld music from Super Mario Bros. So, but again, I do apologize for that particular commentary. It's a bit iffy sometimes because I have to simply concentrate on the actual best results in the forms within all 4 of these difficulties within Rhythm Kitchen. So, yeah, I enjoy it for what it is. It's likely a short burst, basically, so because of that, though, now I'm pretty sure, though, it's about the fact that if you do reach for about 5-star ranking, as far as I'm aware, you're able to actually get yourselves the Superstar Sheriff's title. So, yeah, that's one way I can able to address that. So, yeah, there we go, folks. And as you can definitely tell, yes, I got some more Mario Party points off screen as well, despite the fact that I've already unlocked everything at this rate. So, yeah, I guess that's all there is to it for Rhythm Kitchen. So, yeah, a nice little fun little distraction. So, considering about the fact that, well, if you try to play us with 4 other people, then it's up to us to able to do some bit of cooperative aspect. So, And of course, just like in Super Mario Party, the wrist strap is always recommendable if you don't mess up with the timing when it comes to rhythm minigames itself. So, yeah, I just want to classify that. So with that being said, folks, is that we should probably end things up this point right here. So join me next time for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario Party Jamboree. Is that we're about to check out the second mode in the Motion Control Island, which appears to be Toad's Item Factory, which I think I do need to require not one, but 2 Joy-Con controllers in order to experience this. So, this will be interesting. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. Later, fellas.